The Tokyo Ghoul anime did us and the manga artist dirty, and we deserve a remake. And this is why. Welcome back, beautiful human beings, to this channel, and today we will be discussing why the Tokyo Ghoul manga deserves a new adaptation in animation form, otherwise known as anime. So I'm just going to be getting straight into it. The first season, it wasn't that bad. The first season was pretty good. It stayed consistent with the plot, and while cutting out some things, it still held the basic structure and storyline together. I still would rate the first season a solid 7 or 8 out of 10. It was pretty good, especially because I could still keep up with the characters and figure out what the heck they're doing, which is not the case for later seasons. Season 2, aka Route A, is a disaster. For some reason, animes love to do this thing where they'll just deviate from the source material. I don't know why. Full Metal Alchemist did it. Dragon Ball did it. Kind of. That was a different situation. Not to rail on the first Full Metal Alchemist, though. That was still great. But the thing is, Tokyo Ghoul Route A is not. I remember watching it for the first time and feeling extremely lost. I had no clue what was going on, and we were just following the story of the investigators the entire time. The only time I felt like I had a relative clue of what was going on was the first and the last episode. Everything in between there kind of just felt like filler, and everything that wasn't focused on Kaneki, I just kind of, I felt really weird about. After reading the manga and going back to it, Kaneki joining, okay, I should have said earlier that there are obviously going to be spoilers, but Kaneki joining Aogiri Tree completely is the opposite of what he would want to do in that situation. The manga Kaneki did not. That doesn't happen in the manga. In the actual story of Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki does not join Aogiri Tree, and for good reason, because one of their members literally just tortured him. Why would he join them? I mean, the moment still is sad in the manga when he leaves them and says, "I'm not going back to Anteku." I still died inside. The season relatively still has some pretty good animation, though, not gonna lie. It has some good moments from the manga. I still wanted to see more Banjo. Jeez. And also, Tokyo Ghoul Route A has a completely different ending that kind of cuts off the story from the rest of the story. We never even get to see that last fight where Arima, quote-unquote, kills Kaneki. And you never get to see that one panel of Heise that's in, the first Tokyo Ghoul manga, the last chapter. Now we get on to part 2 of the story, Tokyo Ghoul Re, which fundamentally could not happen with what happened in Route A because the story ended there, essentially. So you all know what they did? You all know what they did when this was coming out, is they just said, read the manga, because Season 3 is not going to be following the events of Season 1 or 2. See, Season 2 was non-canon, Season 1 was canon, so just fill yourself in the events that actually happened and erase Route A from your mind. That's why I think Route A just should have never happened. To be honest, when I was watching the first few episodes, I was honestly on board with it. The first 3 episodes, maybe 4, were pretty good. The first season of relatively follows a pace, kind of. It gets the story across, but I was left lost in a lot of places because it doesn't really fill you in on what's going on. And in some places can be extremely rushed to the point of being a picture slideshow. But oh boy is it bad when we get to Re Season 2. Re Season 1 adapted a fourth of the Re manga, and Re Season 2 was the other 3/4. Okay, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe it was a third and 2/3. But still, they were still both only 12 episodes. And Re Season 2 starts off and you immediately have no clue what's going on. It doesn't fill you in whatsoever. The thing is, I think the animation team just generally decided, okay, well, let's just animate it frame by frame and cut out some frames from the manga. Manga and anime are 2 different ways of showing the story, so you have to adapt it. You can't just put it on a big screen and color it in. Especially after rushing some parts and explaining it with little captions on the screen, I was completely lost in the story. I honestly didn't really know what was going on. I got the basic plot points, but there were some characters where I was They're important? Where they come from? I didn't even know Takizawa was Takizawa at first. Like, I didn't make that connection. When I read the manga from, like, beginning to end, Tokyo Ghoul to Tokyo Ghoul Re-End, I saw that it was, like, amazing. I got the story, I understood everything. That's why the manga is so top tier when the anime is rated, like, 5 out of 10, maybe. So what do I mean in the title when I say it deserves its own brotherhood? Well, Fullmetal Alchemist did this where they deviated from the manga and made a different ending, but then they went back and re-polished up like the entire show and did it straight from the original story. I believe Tokyo Ghoul deserves that too. It's such an amazing manga series once you get down to it, and if someone could properly adapt it, it would be amazing. But I'd say the adaptation has to go from Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re. It'd have to capture the entire story. Before you get your pitchforks and tell me that Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re are two separate stories, I fully understand that. I'd say that, let's just call it Tokyo Ghoul Brotherhood. Tokyo Ghoul Brotherhood would have like a season 1, which is the first manga, and then like season 2 Re, which is the second part, and both should be like 50, maybe 50 episodes each? Yeah. Because the pacing of the anime beforehand was so breakneck to the point where you can't tell what was going on. There's so much to really digest in that series that sometimes you need just a bit to like figure out what's going on in one panel. Plus, another small thing I have to rant about is the art style. The art style in Season 1 and Route A are generally fine. They could use a bit of tweaking, but it's okay. The art style in Re did not match the manga whatsoever. It was so shiny and like everything seemed like it was like all plastic. When you look at panels from the manga, you understand that like this is definitely not what Suishida had in mind when he was drawing these pictures. There are a lot of lines of dialogue left out in the Re-anime as well that explain a lot of things. Even if they're like small little blips on the manga page, they help like expand the story so much more. So I believe it needs a new animation studio with more rough animation. That like smooth stuff does not work for me. It doesn't look like the manga. It doesn't carry the same weight as the story. And it needs to be longer. It needs to pace itself much better. And with that, I'd say you'd have one of the best anime of all time, honestly. Also bring back Unravel, that's cool with me. Bring back the first and the last openings, those ones, yeah. Anyways, thanks for joining my rant on why Tokyo Ghoul deserves its own quote-unquote brotherhood. If you could hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, that'd be great, I guess. I gotta try and actually do more videos on here, so yeah. Also remember, as of right now, 2 McDoubles will only cost you $3.